I guess it just started.
Yep.
Normally it tells us like, hey, now you're recording, but this one just I think it started. Well,
It said
anyways,
recording in progress.
welcome back, everyone. This is the PRFFFFLMP with the inaugural Thanksgiving edition. And we have your host,
Gobble.
Trevor. Yeah, gobble gobble. And your other host,
That's me. It's Sam.
Sam. And this week we have a very special sleepy boy. His name is Paul Sigler.
Hey,
Oh, how are you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
yeah, it's so good to finally be here. I'm so
Yes.
glad that I made it on the podcast.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
know you're one of our really loyal listeners that,
hmm
one of the few that listen at tune in every week. So we were happy to have
hmm
you on to get some good insight.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still waiting for the Patreon page so I can,
Yeah.
start supporting you
So you
even
can
more heavily.
Yeah.
yeah. So you can slap a dono our way.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and just hop right in. Again, I am on Callie's laptop, so it's a little different, and I don't know how to
Paul, while he's
screen
working on that,
record.
what are your thoughts on the NFL season so far?
Oh man, it's been good. Um, I'm a little bit worried about, well, I don't want to get too much into my team stuff until we get
How
there
do I
because I
screen
know
record?
we'll specifically jump
Understandable.
into the game later. So I'll hold off those comments. Um,
Are your
but
Alabama boys doing
No,
good?
I want to screen record.
okay, and that now that's something I can actually talk about. So.
There you go.
I'm recording,
Dude,
but
this
I
past
want to share my
week
screen.
I left early from
Yeah, sorry.
Kentucky so I could get down here and watch the game. And what a waste of
Oh, there
my
we go.
time that
Hmm.
Alabama game was. That
Yeah,
was
that was rough.
I got it now.
that would have been a very good game to miss. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
a tough game to watch there, Paul. Yeah,
Oh
sorry for
man.
your loss.
Yeah, thankfully the first half I was distracted and like wasn't really watching it, but then I watched the second half and it was just a miserable experience the whole time.
Mm, it's tough. Well, see, I went to a Michigan game and I had kind of the opposite experience. It was great the whole time. They just kept
Yeah.
scoring touchdowns. The other team kept not scoring touchdowns. It was a really pleasant experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been last week for Alabama when they played
Right.
Mercer.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out.
All
All
right.
right.
Where should we
Well,
start this week?
do um do you want to let's actually start off here a little different than normal. Let's take a look here at the rankings as we're approaching playoffs. We have
Mhm.
what is it, 2 more weeks before playoffs? Is that right?
Yep. 2 weeks left until the playoffs start.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of you guys that might not know this, right? Um, this is my schedule, but we have 2 weeks, and then after these next 2 weeks, the top six teams will enter the playoffs.
The top eight
Currently,
teams will make the
oh,
playoffs.
it's eight. That's right. You changed it. So currently, we have in first place a little bit of a change from the past week. It is the one and only Sam Maddox with the
That's
Steagles
me.
in first place. Taken, you took down Do It for Dartmouth, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah,
You
we'll
did.
we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah. And then we've got the Furries, the Dub Squad, Philly Phobia, Light the Egg on Fire, the Prostate Podcasters, and then Zach on the Couch. So
Mm, mm.
definitely an interesting, and I will point this out, right? We've got, I mean, this eighth
So this isn't
spot,
a 12 team playoff like
unfortunately, it's
college.
not. Yeah, yeah,
No,
no, it's
Uh,
yeah.
no.
But I will say that
yeah,
I
it is
don't
Don't
think
worry,
unfortunate.
Alabama's not
anyone,
making that one either.
I don't think anyone's out yet, right? I mean,
No,
you've
it's
we've got
it's fair game for everybody.
four teams at 4-8. One
I'd
of them
yeah,
will make the playoff, and
I'd
then
say
Paul.
that
Go ahead.
I'd say Aaron's probably pretty safely in. So I would say that we're really, there's really those last two spots, and
Hmm.
well, you got four teams at 4-8 and one at 3-9.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because Paul, if you can win out your last 2 weeks, you can go to 5-9, and theoretically, you still have a shot
Mm.
at making the playoffs here. So,
Okay,
for
that's good.
these people, right? For we got Cody, Zach, Tanner, Josiah, Jacob, and Paul. I'd really recommend fighting hard these last couple of weeks to
Yeah,
try and make a push.
yeah. Make sure you
Um,
got a laptop handy so you can always stay up to date on your
yes,
team.
pretty helpful. Yeah. So, anyways, do they have the projections right now for the playoff? Yeah, where we would all play.
Mhm.
We don't need to get into that though. That's not that relevant. Anyways, let's just go back to yeah, let's look at these matchups here, okay?
Yeah.
Um,
Do
where
we
do
want
we
to
want
start
to
with
start?
you want to start with my matchup? We had one versus
Sure,
two.
sure. This is was the marquee matchup for the week, right? This is the Steagles and Dharmas.
Yeah.
Um, Now
And
Levi has been on a rampage,
mhm.
Mhm.
He
and
did not
I
do it for Day Armas this week.
boy did he not. I do feel like Sam, your team has sneakily been very
Hmm.
good. When I when I
Yeah.
was looking at it, that I think you've scored almost as many points as Levi, haven't you? Or is it more?
I'm third in points right now behind Levi
Okay,
and Angel. But
okay, but you were right up there though. But yeah, I mean, where do you want to start? What are you thinking, Paul? Here, what do you want to point out?
So I see my guy Hertz is on Levi's team.
mhm.
He is,
How's
and
he been doing this year?
he's had a great season. He's probably the like top five. Yeah, he's the number three fantasy football
Oh,
player
that's
of the season.
crazy.
Nice.
Um,
Getting a lot of rushing touchdowns. Just a lot of touchdowns.
yeah,
He's a longer.
yeah. I don't think he
Cool.
stole
That's
any
good to see.
touchdowns from Saquon this week, so I think that kind of hurt him.
Yeah.
Um,
And Saquon
then
was
we
like, I
got
might as well just run it
And then
for
I think
70 yards.
Sanders was an Alabama guy too.
was he this Sanders, the kicker?
No, that's the wrong Sanders.
Oh.
Um,
Hey, I've got an
well,
Alabama guy on my team, Paul. Why don't you
yeah, you
talk
got
about him?
Gibbs.
Oh,
We
Gibbs, yeah,
Yeah, he had a
nice.
great week. Yeah, he had was it
He's
two
been having a
tuds?
great season too, right?
Yeah, two touchdowns,
Like
90 rushing yards.
90 yards, two touchdowns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, Alabama's missing some of those guys this year, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I bet I we can tell. We can tell.
I
Yeah,
really
I
didn't like
mean,
seeing I didn't like seeing David Montgomery get hurt, but fortunately he's okay. But it did
yeah,
open the
yeah.
door for Gibbs to get more carries.
hmm Yeah, he kind of finished the game out, fortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and from my
to me,
understanding, Montgomery's back.
it looks like you had a big win, Sam. What was your like speech to the team going into this game in the
Oh yeah.
locker room?
Yeah, so my speech going to this week was hey, we're going up against Levi, former Golden Dewey winner. He's repping Anna De Armas out there. We're shorthanded this week, guys. Joe Burrow's on the bench.
It's a tough week.
Chase Brown's on the bench with the bye week. And I was like, we got to put in a Pittsburgh Steeler. So like, I
hmm
know we don't like him, but let's rally around him. Let's go win one for the Gipper. So I think they really just saw the opportunity that was laying in front of them to take down Levi and take first place, and they
hmm
came through.
They did.
Wow. Yeah, they
You know,
responded to that vision.
Now did you tell them to ice their legs at all? Was that anything that you brought up with the team?
Yeah, no, I did take some inspiration from McGlone last week and told them to ice their knees.
Yeah.
If you look, you look through Brian Robinson Jr. didn't ice his knees.
Yeah, he got
Neither
injured.
neither did the San Francisco defense.
Yeah, all of the
They
San Francisco defense.
Yeah, but overall, pretty good week. Gibbs had a huge week. Hawkinson was huge in overtime
hmm
or was it overtime? Yeah, he was big in overtime
It
for the
was.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Um, I was a little disappointed that I benched Jalen Waddle this week.
Mm.
Another
Oh
Alabama
man,
guy.
you got a
He was
lot of Robinson and Waddle are also Alabama.
yeah. Waddle had a huge week, which was his biggest week so far. But I didn't really need it. Levi just had a tough week. If you want to
He
scroll back up
did.
there, Trevor.
Oh, Smith. What
Yeah.
happened to Smith on
Oh, he was
Levi's team?
yeah, he was hurt.
Oh, okay.
But Levi
hmm
definitely didn't get the production from his running backs that he usually does.
No.
Derrick Henry still had a big game, but
Oh,
Jonathan
he's
Taylor,
Alabama too. Derrick Henry.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're all over the
Jonathan Taylor
place.
had a bad week. Brooks did nothing, and
Yeah.
Joku didn't really do anything. He had a rough week. So
Yeah. Yeah. Bit
it
of a
wasn't
stinker across the board.
it
Well,
wasn't the high scoring matchup that you would expect from a top two battle.
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that Jonathan Taylor had a bad week. He had to play against the Lions,
Yeah,
and um, nobody beats Goff. So, we got the Lions
true.
here stuffing. Realistically, you should be thanking the Lions for your victory. When you
You
look at
should, yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs, you look at Jake Bates over here, and then
Mhm.
stomping out Jonathan Taylor. That's a
You
that's a
love to see
Detroit
it.
Lions dub.
Yeah, are we gonna have to start saying that, instead of the Steagles that never were, are these the Steagles that are?
The Steagles that might be, that might
The
could,
Steagles that might be? Yeah.
yeah, maybe so. Yeah, and Levi's gonna be don't do it for Darmus after this loss.
Sorry,
Well,
Levi. I'm 2-0 against you this year.
yes, yes. Well, let's scroll on down here. Let's hit the next one. Well, let's just do mine. Mine with Josiah here.
Yeah.
We got the
Mm,
Philly
So,
phobia.
pretty
what are
close
your
game.
thoughts on the Philly phobia logo there, Paul?
So what is that? Like some kind of crown?
You can call it
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You could say
It's a
that.
crown for your
It's
crotch.
it's a jock strap specifically.
Okay. And is that somehow unique to Philadelphia?
Well, it's more of a football reference, I
Okay.
suppose. Yeah.
I think Philadelphia is
Okay.
sometimes known as the jockstrap of America.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could say that. Yeah,
Gotcha. Well, yeah, seems nice.
yeah. Well, my team actually had an okay week. It could have been worse. I started Tampa Bay against the Giants, which was pretty pleasant. That worked out well for me.
Yeah,
Geno Smith
nice.
kind of snuck. This was the first week I
What do you
didn't
mean
play
you
CJ Stroud.
started Tampa Bay?
The defense,
Their
yes.
defense. So you have a
They,
team defense every week in your lineup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I
Except
have one of
when
those
you,
too?
yeah, you
sometimes you
do.
start one, sometimes you don't. But yeah, you
Okay.
do have one, yeah, on your team.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I
You got
mean,
You got Moody Booty. I didn't realize that.
money moody, baby. Yeah,
He was
I
a little
mean, my team
booty.
kind of just did okay right across the board. The two things
Got
are this
Lamb.
is like the fourth week in a row where I didn't start Bucky Irving, and he's been great for the last 5 weeks straight. So
Yeah.
I probably just need to set him and not think about it moving forward.
I mean, who are you going to start him over? I mean,
Well, that's the
what you got?
problem. Where like
D.
Reed is pretty good. I've got Tracy, but after that
You know,
offense is terrible, I think I'm benching Tracy. Um, so I'm probably just going to start Rashid White and Bucky Irving
going to
moving
go with the
forward.
both Tampa Bay running backs.
Yep. We're all in on the Tampa Bay offense, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, but Nico, finally had a good
Yeah. Nico
performance
Collins
after he
had a
was
great
injured.
week. He
Mhm.
definitely didn't get a 77-yard touchdown called back this week.
Yes, that's correct. Um, but then, you look over at Josiah's
Hmm.
team, right? Kyler Murray had been playing really well, and
You
then
know who
he's
got
kind
a
of back down
touchdown
to earth
called
a little
back?
bit. Who did?
Alabama did
Alabama?
this Saturday.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that one.
That was a ridiculous call. And they actually could have had a little bit of hope, possibly, if that call wasn't made.
It's true. They
Um,
could have.
yeah, that one was pretty frustrating. Go back and check it out, Sam. It was ridiculous.
Did you know that Ryan Williams is only 17 years old, Paul?
Really?
Yeah.
17. Wow.
17-year-old freshman, and he's
That's
killing it.
younger than we are.
That's,
Yeah, a little bit.
that's much younger than we are. Yeah, do we have any
His catch was
Alabama guys
awesome,
here?
though, Sam. You should check it out. He stuck his leg down. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Now, Paul,
Lamb
this might
is
be
Georgia,
he's an
wasn't he?
no, he's
He
an
went to
Oklahoma
Oklahoma.
guy,
Oh,
which is
Oklahoma?
probably not what you like to hear right about
Yeah.
now, but
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
don't
Too
I
soon.
don't think any of these guys are Alabama guys, but what do I know?
Yeah. They don't
um
look. With Tampa Bay, did he play on Alabama?
probably someone
I'm
on
sure
Tampa
someone did.
Bay.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think no, we got a couple Oklahoma guys though with Kyler and with CD and anyways. Yeah, so looking at
So,
Josiah's team, Amon
yeah,
Ross St. Brown had an okay game. It wasn't up to his standard, but
yeah.
I mean,
That was
he
mostly
was
for the Lions. It was mostly a Jameer Gibbs game.
it was definitely game script. They were winning the whole game. They were just running the ball. Interesting decision to start Ricky Pearsall. Now I think he just didn't play. Did no, he did play. He just had
You got
two
two
targets and
targets and nothing. Ouch, that's not good, Josiah.
yeah, that's tough. Wait, no, that
Oh
was
wait, he
last
still
week.
got. Okay, yeah. So he may not have played. Oh, he exited it with a leg
Oh,
injury.
that's
So he played.
unfortunate.
He got hurt. So that's definitely not the worst injury he sustained this year. But
No, it's
no,
certainly
he's
not.
come back from worse.
He has. I mean, he gets that got shot and still playing star, so that's pretty cool. Jackson Smith and Jigba had a good game. He's been kind of all over the place. However, I would say, yeah, look at this. These last 3 weeks, he's actually really stepped it up, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, to the chagrin of DK Metcalf, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Um, yeah, Jake Elliott, the kicker for for Philly, he kicked a bunch of field goals, and extra points because they scored a lot of points. So that's pretty cool. Just tough
Yeah,
week, right? For there, not a
tough
whole
week
lot
for
you could do.
Josiah.
Now, how do you
Yeah,
feel if you're Josiah about starting Bo Nix? Are you a believer, Sam?
Wow, Bo Nix.
Yeah.
you know what? I think I would say I'm a believer.
Yeah, I would say I'm a believer as well at this point.
Yeah. I mean, well, he outscored Kylo this week, right?
He did. And I think he actually overall he's a nine ranked scoring
Hmm.
fantasy football player. And Kyler's 15. He's outplaying Kyler on the
Yeah.
season. And
Yeah,
if I'm not
Nix is having a great season.
yeah,
Bo Namath,
yeah.
they call him.
Bo Namath. Yeah, I believe, I'll tell you that. Now, granted, I
Yeah.
guess he
Hmm.
hasn't had his bye week yet, so there's that to factor in, but still, he's having a great season.
Fortunately, that is before the playoffs start, so it
Hmm.
won't impact him too much, but it could impact his chances to get in.
It's true. It's true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, next up, let's hit the interesting matchup of the week,
Yeah,
right? I
this is a
mean,
close one.
While we're
what
switching
a
between, what
yeah.
happened with UK this weekend, Sam?
Oh, they lost to Texas, but you know what?
Oh,
They
okay.
fought
Well,
hard.
Texas is good.
And yeah, we
That's a
were had the
fine
ball.
loss.
I think we had the ball down 7 or down 10 at some point. So we played okay, but we were supposed to lose and we did.
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
mean, if it's any consolation, Michigan lost to Texas as well, Sam. So, you know,
That makes
I
me feel
feel
so
your
much
pain.
better.
All right.
We
Now
got two Alabama guys in this matchup.
this was a great matchup, right? I mean, Cody really pulling up here. He was
Wow.
projected to lose by almost 15 points, and instead he lost by, zero point 0.3 points, which is much worse. Um, did he
Hmm.
start the right quarterback?
So
He did
close.
start the right quarterback
Yeah,
this week.
he only had one
He didn't
quarterback.
leave any points on the bench. Is that
You
right?
know,
No,
Am I
yeah,
reading that right?
yep,
not
you are
one,
correct.
not
Wow.
one.
That's
Great,
impressive.
great start decisions by Cody,
Yeah.
even though his team was either on a
Now,
bye or
Who's this guy, Herbert?
Justin Herbert, he had an
Herbert.
okay game. The problem was they kind of just got blown out there late.
Herbert.
Um,
Hmm.
I mean,
Never
they were
heard of this
definitely
guy.
Justin Herbert. He used to play for Oregon.
Oh, okay. That's probably
Yeah,
why they're so far
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
yeah. He definitely wasn't.
Um,
I think he didn't have as good of a week this week because he wasn't playing against the Bengals.
yeah, that's
Um,
fair. That's reasonable. Now Tua, that's an Alabama guy.
yeah,
He
Tua
had
had a
he had a
great
great
game.
week. Yeah, I mean,
He's been really good since he's gotten back. The whole everybody
yeah,
except Tyreek Hill on that offense has
Hmm.
been off for the better.
Do
yeah,
you guys have opinions about Tua and the whole concussion thing?
Yeah, I think he should retire. I think it's better for him to retire.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
My
only say that
stance.
because the Dolphins are an AFC team, and I want
mm,
less competition in the AFC.
My stance is that I am not a neurologist or a sports medicine doctor,
But you are
and
a doctor.
right, but I would trust that the doctors that they have on staff would be able to give him relatively unbiased opinions on his health.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
That's
I
fair, I guess. Do you have any opinions on his eyes?
uh yes, he should definitely keep them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I knew that's an area you could weigh in.
Yes, yeah. It's beneficial to keep his eyes.
Okay.
But I mean, great weeks
Well, I'm
here.
glad he's doing well.
Josh Jacobs scored 3 touchdowns. Was he an Alabama guy?
Judy.
He
Yeah,
was.
I think so. Hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. He scored 3 touchdowns in the
Nice.
just absolute dismantling of the 49ers. Speaking of the 49ers getting dismantled, you look at Christian McCaffrey. Not what you like to see from your number one overall pick?
Yeah, he hasn't been the same since he came back, from his
No,
injury. Definitely
no,
hasn't been
no.
as good a year.
Yeah, he's kind of a shell
Maybe,
of his former self.
maybe he's still shaking some of the rust off, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's tough though.
Plus,
It's tough.
they didn't really have much going with Purdy being out
Mhm.
either.
Yeah, it's true. They didn't really commit to that run game. I mean, Hopkins had a decent game.
Hmm.
Judy had an
Another
okay
Alabama
game.
guy.
Yeah, yeah, Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
Um, Chuba Hubbard, look at him go, man. I just every week I look at this and I think like, wow, how is this man still putting up these numbers on the worst offense, in the league? But
Yeah, you
he
see,
is.
you think that, and I sit here think, wow, how did Matt Sice drop him
Yeah.
in week like, 2 or 3?
And in week one, I think he gave him 1 week and then he dropped him.
Maybe, yeah. But
But
it's worked for Tanner. So
mhm,
Tanner had lost. He won his first three, and then he lost
mhm,
7 in a row, and then he's back on the
mhm.
win column. So good for
Yes.
Tanner.
Yeah. He needed this dub. He needed it bad.
Yeah.
Jake, I like that Cody finally started playing Mark Andrews. Now, granted, he didn't
Mhm.
have a lot of options, but I do like
Yeah.
seeing Mark Andrews in there.
He went with the
Um,
two tight ends in his lineup this week.
Schultz and Andrews. You got Dicker the kicker. Green Bay defense played well. Yeah, I mean, really, they're just good weeks from both players, right?
And really, Justin Herbert, he just needed like 3 more yards from Justin Herbert,
Yeah,
and he got one. So,
there was
um,
like a weird. I don't know if you watched that game, Sam. I like the hat, Paul.
Oh, thanks.
There was a
I've woken up a little bit.
there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. There was like a 15 or 16-yard pass to Lad McConkey that they flagged it for pass interference on the defense. And initially
Mhm.
they said he was inbounds, and then they said he was out of bounds. And I think they probably could have challenged it, but they just took the pass interference instead
Yeah.
because it was just, it doesn't really matter if you're not, there's no reason to argue it, just take the penalty. But that alone would have, got him over the threshold and won that game.
Mm,
But
That's rough.
that's
But
tough.
anyways,
Yeah.
um,
Poor prostate. Paul, have you checked your prostate recently?
I I can't say that I have.
Do you know any good podcasts about prostates?
No, not at one. Do
All
you?
right.
that's fair. Well, I know one
Um,
where I'm routinely saying it, because you
yeah.
remember there was one week I accidentally called Cody's team the Prostate Podcasters, and so now that's been his name the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up here we have
On this
it
Thanksgiving,
really.
let's be thankful for good prostates for all 14 of us, 13 of
That's
us
right,
guys.
and good podcasts.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we don't know
All right,
yet. The new one hasn't come out yet. We don't know if it's going
that's
to be any
true.
great again.
Yeah.
That's true.
Only
Speaking
That's
of
to
true.
jump the
podcast,
gun.
Yeah. So we've got the stoppable force and the eggs, and I mean, Jacob did it, right? This
what
was,
is this the second week in a row that he's won? Or maybe
yeah.
two of the last
Let's
three? I'm not
Wow, this
sure.
was
let's
another
ign-
close game.
let's
Yeah.
ignore Jacob for just a second, and let's look at the train wreck that was Aaron's team this week. I mean, just absolute stinkers across the board, right? He
Yeah.
did leave a lot of points on the bench, right? With Jalen Warren, with Tony
Mhm.
Pollard, Jared Goff
Oof.
had an okay week, but
Collards on the
um,
bench is rough.
yes, yeah, that's a tough one there.
He's starting in his place. Najee Harris, Jake.
Najee and Dobbins went
Oh, yeah.
down.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Aaron. You can have J.K.
Yeah,
Dobbins now.
yeah, that's a tough one there. Brock
Yeah.
Bowers also was a little
Najee.
underwhelming this week. See, the issue with starting all these Indianapolis Colts players again, I'll say it again, is they played the Lions, and it's tough. It's tough to score a lot of points when you play
Yeah.
against the Lions.
Yeah. Fortunately, it wasn't
Um,
1 million Lions, but
yeah,
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 not a good week for the Colts.
yeah. Just
Downs, I think
imagine if it
Downs
was
was
a
hurt
billion
in the middle of the game
Lions.
too. But really,
Uh,
Jefferson not having a big game was pretty tough for
yeah,
Aaron. I mean,
it
what he
certainly
lost by
was.
two and a half or something like that.
Yep, yep, but right about 2 points.
Hmm.
And then we can look at Jacob's team, right? He didn't start a wide receiver or a defense. His kicker did all right.
Hmm.
Joe Mixon, a little underwhelming. Goddard,
So,
underwhelming.
does he have
Elliott,
another defense he could have started?
probably. Maybe not
I don't think
here.
he does anything.
No, he
But he could.
doesn't.
So Paul, this is a strategy that you implement quite a bit. Actually, is leaving empty spots in your lineup.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
It paid off for Jacob this week. So can you talk a little bit about that strategy of leaving players on a bye or injured players in the lineup?
Well, in his case, he didn't have another choice, right? With the
No, he
defense.
did.
Is
Well,
that what
he
you
could
guys
have
are
picked
saying?
one up off
Yeah,
waivers.
Off the waivers.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
You certainly watched the episode early on when we showed you how to pick players up off the waivers, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, that was so long ago.
I think that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Um, well, if he's like me as a coach, then he shows loyalty. G. Wilson there, which is going to
Yeah.
pay off for him next week.
Okay. That's a statement, bold statement.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm
But
it
you're
could
you're
it could
hearing
be
it.
huge.
Yeah, you're hearing it here from Paul. Big week coming for Garrett Wilson.
Big
Now, what
week.
about the loyalty to Ezekiel Elliott? He has started Ezekiel Elliott every single week, and the last 4 weeks, Zeke put up 0 points, point
Hmm
2 points, 3.9, and 0.6. How do you feel
hmm
about that from a loyalty standpoint?
Who does he have on the bench that could go in?
Instead of Ezekiel Elliott,
Yeah, yeah.
um, Spears.
Well, he didn't get any points.
Well, but in these last 4 weeks, he's outscored Ezekiel Elliott.
Ty J Spears.
Yeah, I mean, he
Is
could
it
also
TJ?
again pick
How do you
somebody
say
up
his
off
first name?
waivers. Oh, you don't know how to say that? It's yeah, yeah, yeah. It's TJ.
Yeah, TJ.
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 Okay.
Yeah,
I think I'd stick with Ezekiel.
with his 0.6 points. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it really came down to right. Sam Darnold had a good week. Aaron Jones had a good week, and then everyone else kind of stunk it up. But
Who's
Who's
more
taking
people
that?
stunk
Darnold?
it up.
Who's
Sam
the
Sam
Darnold.
quarterback? Yeah.
Sam
played at
Darnold.
USC.
Oh, the Vikings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't really
Okay.
take a whole lot for Jacob to
So
come over
he's the
there.
one that came in for Cousins last year.
Well, they had
Correct.
they drafted JJ McCarthy,
Hmm.
Yes.
and JJ McCarthy was going to be the starter, but then he got hurt preseason, and so they had
Yeah.
Sam Darnold as the
Oh,
backup, and
wow.
Darnold's had a pretty good year.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, tough
That's a
loss there
tough
for
loss.
Aaron. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially it never feels good to lose to somebody that didn't start a full roster.
right. Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah. Well, there you go. It just goes to show that the loyalty pays off.
that's right.
Let's look
That's
at
right.
He
W
probably
squad.
he may have known Sam that he didn't need all of his players.
That's
Yeah,
good. You could know that. Yeah.
And
that's
then he's banking on like you're almost reserving points for next week when he might need
That's
a
fair.
bigger score.
Saving him up, maybe. Didn't want to use
that's
all
one
his
thing
points
about
in one
Jacob.
week.
We all know that he has good foresight.
That's
Hmm
right. Now, this one's an interesting one. We got the Dub Squad versus Zach on the couch.
Oh, what a
Um,
blow!
yeah, a bit of a bloodbath here. Um,
I don't
again, now
think Zach's ever coming up off the couch after that.
Zach also
Well, it is hard to
implemented,
coach from the couch.
Yeah,
yes, Zach also implemented the strategy of
Hmm
not starting players. Now,
Yep.
it didn't work out as well for him as it did for Jacob, though.
No, no. He misread his opponent.
Yeah, he certainly did. Yeah.
Taylor Swift? No, D Swift.
Yeah,
Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Taylor Swift. Yeah,
DeAndre. Is that a brother?
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
so. Yeah.
They're birth siblings.
Yeah, and he definitely here's
She
the thing
plays for
with
the
Zach's
Chiefs,
team.
doesn't she? Taylor plays for the
I believe
Chiefs.
so. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Zach's team. I mean, he had players, right? He could have played Cortland Sutton. He could have played probably
Hmm
not Baker,
hmm
but mainly just Cortland Sutton would have done something. But
Yeah, they have some history there, though, Zach and
mm,
him.
that's
Oh, do
fair.
they?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. You care
But
to elaborate a
fortunately,
little bit more on that, Paul? Or is that too private?
That's more of like I mean, he told me as his roommate, but I don't know if he would want
Hmm.
everybody.
no, that checks out. Yeah. Um, last week, this past week was the rough bye week for everybody, right? There were like 6 teams on
Yeah.
bye, so just a lot of people
Right.
were not playing games.
There,
Yeah.
there is there is some strategy to Zach on the couch, just eating the bye weeks, just taking the L.
Yeah.
Um,
hmm
so especially
That's kind of how I
he's
felt too.
yeah, he's still in the playoff push, so it didn't
Hmm.
hurt him
Hmm
too bad. But it would have been hard to beat Matt this week with the big performances that his team
Yes.
had,
Yeah. Puka had
especially
a
with
great week.
Jaden Daniels
McBride
had a
had a
huge
great.
week again.
Jaden Daniels, yeah, with that 87-yard touchdown pass right
Mhm.
before the end of the game.
Dallas.
And then Achan had a good week.
Oh
It
no,
was just, I
versus
mean,
Dallas.
I didn't
If
realize, is
Matt
Mike Evans back?
Yeah, he is. If Matt could get Evans and Tyreek Hill going, then his team's dangerous come playoff
Hmm.
time.
I mean, to be fair, even if he can't, his team is still dangerous. 136 points is a
True.
lot of points.
That's a
Um,
lot of points.
yeah. And then, I mean, he had John O. Smith on the bench. Yeah, just a gonna be a tough team, a bit of a force to be reckoned with there. Now, let's set up this matchup. We wanted to bring you on specifically for this, Paul, so we could hear your
Mm,
insight on how this went. Now, just
mm,
something to note. If I'm not mistaken, 166.76 points is the most points
hmm
anyone has ever scored in our fantasy football league.
mm,
Mm,
And I think this is the first time that anyone has um, tripled their opponent's score.
hmm
That you could have doubled your score and
hmm
you could have tripled your score and you still would have lost this week.
Yeah,
What are your
that's
thoughts
right.
on that?
Yeah, it felt a little hopeless this week. So that's when you start looking toward next week,
Right, right.
you know?
Now you made the
Like you could
interesting
have run the
decision.
players super hard this week, or you could let them rest up for next week.
Okay. So, but why did you start why did you really feel like you wanted T Higgins to run another week? You didn't want to give him a rest?
No, not with T Hig, man. He's been
Yeah.
loyal to me.
Okay.
He's played well for me all year.
Yeah, yeah.
that,
I mean,
yeah.
And so I've
sometimes.
stuck by him.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, when he's
here's
on
He
the
a
did.
quick
field, he
I
does
mean, he
play
did take
well.
a rest though.
here's a
Yeah.
quick
Oh, he
fun.
did.
He did. He didn't do anything. I just had him in there, but he was resting.
So, Trevor, you mentioned that 166 is the most points scored this year by any team. That
Yeah.
Paul, Mr. Numballer, was previously number one with 162 points.
Hmm.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
really just got the beat down this week, and Andrew just ripped the
Just goes
W
to
right out
show
of your
that
hand.
I could have played my best game and still lost.
You certainly could. Now,
That's
Paul,
true.
you had
Yeah,
mentioned having defenses in the past. Now,
Yeah,
you didn't start the Dallas
Denver.
defense, but you
Oh.
did start the Denver defense. Now, if you look here, the Dallas
Mm-hmm.
defense scored more points than the Denver
Mm-hmm.
defense. Was that your
Okay.
plan?
22 versus 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you anticipate that happening or
Well, the Dallas team was playing against Was, and I thought
yeah,
Was is probably pretty strong,
right? That's
but I
reasonable.
guess LV was actually the better opponent.
Well, that's debatable, but that is the way
yeah.
it looks.
It is. I guess I
Um,
just overestimated Was,
yeah,
is really
that's
what it
fair.
comes down to.
I mean, it would have
You're
gotten you
probably not
12.
alone.
But it in the end it didn't matter too much.
That's true. Yeah.
No, no, I
I am
David
think.
Montgomery
concerned
had a good week.
Jay Ferguson also got stomped by Was.
Yeah, I do
Yes.
appreciate your loyalty, Paul. I think that is one thing that, coming out of this season, nobody, you can say that nobody was more loyal than you were to your team.
Mm.
That's right.
Well, thanks,
You know,
Sam.
it may have you in last place, but what's really important?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Winning or
T.
loyalty?
Higgins, that's
Yeah.
what's important.
Well, I hope people hear that, Sam. I hope your listeners take that to heart because there has been a lot of talk about firing me as a coach, and
Really, I
I
haven't heard that.
I just want to say to the fans, trust the process.
Okay.
You have fans? I didn't know Paul
Okay.
had fans.
No, I've
Um,
been hearing the
this is
rumors.
only my
Yeah.
second year. It takes longer than that to really establish a dynasty program.
Yeah.
And so I just want to ask the fans, like, what do you want? Do you want a flashy season or do you
Yeah.
want a dynasty in the future?
Right,
Mm.
right. Do you want to
So,
like win games or do you want to like lose games for a while?
mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
fair.
think,
And
I think I think most fans would say like, yeah, let's lose games for a while so we can win later. I
Right.
think winning now is a little
mhm.
overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if there's one
Agreed.
thing we know about the American people, it's that they love delayed gratification.
That's right.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's
That's
what I
right.
bring as a coach.
Now, speaking of loyalty, we've been talking about Andrew dropping Patrick Mahomes every week, and he still needs to drop Patrick Mahomes. It's time to move on, give up on Patty Mahomes. He did have a good
Yeah.
week, but you know,
Is he a has been?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is just, he just doesn't have it anymore. He only
Hmm.
threw for 3 touchdowns and 269 yards this week, 5 rushes for 60 yards. It's time to move on from Patrick Mahomes. Um, he can start Matthew Stafford. He could start really anybody.
You could pick
But I
up
think,
Tommy DeVito, probably.
yeah, probably. What's that one guy at the
Hmm.
Raiders? Not Gardner. Aiden McConnell's probably,
Aiden O'Connell.
available. Yeah, so some different options there. But I mean, his team went crazy, right? Saquon Barkley scored 3 touchdowns and ran for 250
Huge
yards.
game.
That's
255
monster game.
yards. It's gonna be tough
Yeah.
to
Oh,
beat.
sorry, only 2 touchdowns. My bad. But then an
His
additional.
defense didn't do as good as mine.
Yep.
That's correct. Yeah, but his kicker did much better than yours because I don't know if you
Hmm.
noticed, your kicker won't be kicking any more balls, I think, for the rest of the season.
Hmm.
So you might want to like maybe get a new kicker.
Yeah. I
Okay.
will.
Do
I
I
will
have
point out,
anyone
Andrew. You can pick one up off waivers. Go back and
off
watch episode 2.
waivers? Oh, right. Yeah, episode 2.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Just go to
Um,
the players list, filter to K, and then get all the kickers.
Now,
And
let
then
me
you
see.
should
If,
be.
what about Jay Ferguson over there? What was his problem?
He was hurt
he's
and plays for Dallas, which also is hurting him.
Yeah. Well, he had a
Um,
concussion last week, so I don't even know if he played this week.
do you have any other tight ends on your team, Paul? Oh, you got Conklin.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
start
I've
Conklin.
got Conklin. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just make
But he
sure
wasn't
that.
playing this week.
Yeah, I don't know what your game plan is for this week, but I'd probably
Hmm.
recommend putting in Jamar Chase. Um,
Yes, that'd probably be good.
I think I took him out this game.
You did. You
you
gave him a
did.
rest. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
And let's see. What about the Ferguson? Do you think he had any conflict of interest playing against Andrew's team?
That is,
um,
I
that's fair.
yeah,
Maybe that's why he
there
didn't
might be
play.
something to it.
Maybe a little bit of collusion there.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was a little worried about that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I would be. Yeah. Fortunately,
especially
I don't
nowadays.
think he was going to score 120 points for you. So that probably didn't come up.
Especially nowadays with sports gambling being such an issue, I think that might have been the right. May have been a good move to
Mhm.
not play Ferguson this week just because of all the
Yeah.
collusion.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what should I have done about Josh Allen? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I would have picked up I would not have Aaron Rodgers probably, but I would have picked up a quarterback off waivers and started someone else.
Yeah. But now you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it because Josh
Yeah,
Allen
it
will
won't come
play.
up anymore.
And he's
Yeah,
pretty good, right?
He is.
I think
He's,
so.
eighth scoring
Yeah.
fantasy football player.
He's pretty solid.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, you got a couple weeks to make a push for the playoffs.
Hmm.
I just
Okay. How many?
like we
I have
said,
two. We have two more.
2 weeks,
Two
two
more. You got to
weeks,
win them both, Paul. You got to win them both.
Okay, gotta win them both.
and
Okay.
you need some help from the people ahead of
That's just the situation Alabama was in this past week.
Got to win them
Two
both.
more. Had to win them both.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Paul, so after we've looked
Okay,
at
wait.
everything,
One more question though.
yeah,
Mhm.
Three. What about this?
Jake
Wait,
Ford.
where'd we go? Go up. T. Lockett.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was his
He's
T
problem?
Lockett. T Lockett's kind of been pushed to the third receiver on that Seattle team.
yeah. He probably finds his way to the bench, and you put Jamar Chase back in.
Yeah,
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's
I
a
will
he's a
say,
he's a good bench option.
last year
Brian Thomas
I was able
Brian
to do
Thomas
some
Jr. is really
drafting.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. is having a pretty decent season, so maybe take out put Jamar Chase back in, and then
Hmm.
maybe if you need a third receiver, Malik Neighbors hasn't been great
What
recently,
about T
but
Higgins though?
well, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. He'll put T Higgins back in. You have Chase Higgins and maybe Brian Thomas Jr.
You know, like
He,
or
Malik.
maybe Neighbors. I don't know.
Yeah.
man, I love that T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
He's a quality guy, isn't he?
he is. He is.
Yeah.
So Paul, after we've looked at all the matchups this week, so as the
Mhm.
resident numbers expert, you made a movie about
Mm.
numbers this year.
Yeah.
Or really, I guess your daughter Lael's the numbers expert, right? Because she's
Hmm.
the boss. What
Yeah,
what
we're
would she
making a
have to
push
say?
against Matt
Yeah.
Stats.
What would she have to say about all these numbers here?
Those are all zeros. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, this is for next week. Oh, I can go back.
Oh, who do I play next week?
Talking about this past week.
This past week. Um, let's see. Let's see. I mean, might notice that mine's the lowest, which in some
Hmm.
sports is good. Not in this one. Um,
Would be
I'm
a
not.
take in.
Yeah, that'd be one take.
All right, I stopped the recording. I just wanted to
Perfect.
cut it off in the middle of something.
Perfect.
Who do I play next week?
That was what I had up.
Okay, let's see it.
You play, I don't know, whoever it is here.
Wizards of White plays Tanner.
Yeah,
Oh
you got to
shoot.
take down Tanner. That'll be huge for you, though. Beating Tanner is
Oh,
really important.
why do
Hey
I have
guys,
to play against
I gotta
Tanner?
get back to work, so I'll
Yeah,
talk to you later.
it's all good. Have a good one, Sam. Thanks for
Paul.
joining.
All right, see you, Sam. Have a good Thanksgiving. What about
All right.
and then what's the other one I have to win?
Next week, you've got to beat
Hmm.
Cody, which is also a winnable game. You got two
Mm,
winnable games.
all right, all right.
Yeah, you got it on lockdown, Paul.
Okay. Now that I know about this waiver thing.
That's right. That's going to be huge for you.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, maybe
So
I am still recording. I don't know how this works, but I'm going to stop it now, I think.
It was